Maya stood at her post outside the ornate chamber door, her eyes scanning the dimly lit corridor of the alien spacecraft. Her hand rested on the strange weapon at her hip, a gift from the Zolarian royal family. The metallic walls shimmered with an iridescent blue glow, casting shadows that danced around her as she maintained her vigilant watch. 3 months ago, Maya had been a simple security officer on Earth. Now she served as the personal guardian to Princess Lyria of Zolar, the most precious treasure of an advanced alien civilization that had made first contact with humanity just 1 year prior. The princess had chosen Maya personally after witnessing her bravery during a diplomatic incident on Earth when a rogue faction attempted to assassinate the Zolarian ambassador. Maya had thrown herself between the ambassador and danger-sustaining injuries, but saving the alien diplomat. The act had not gone unnoticed. A soft chime echoed from within the chamber, and Maya straightened, her posture. The door slid open with a gentle hiss, revealing Princess Lyria. Her skin held a faint purple tint that seemed to shimmer in the light. Her eyes, large and entirely silver without pupils, blinked at Maya. "Ready for our excursion, Guardian?" Maya asked the princess, nodding respectfully. Lyria stepped forward, her movements graceful as though she floated rather than walked. Her silver hair cascaded down her back in elaborate braids adorned with glowing crystals that pulsed with her heartbeat. "Have been anticipating this visit to your Earth Museum all week, Maya. The concept of preserving history in physical form is fascinating to my people." She spoke perfect English, though her voice carried an ethereal echo that no human voice possessed. Maya smiled at the enthusiasm in the princess' voice. Despite their differences, they had developed an unusual friendship over the past months. The princess was curious about humanity, and Maya found herself equally fascinated by Zolarian culture as they walked through the massive starship docked in orbit above Earth. Maya noticed the respectful nods from the alien crew members. They had initially been skeptical of a human guardian, but Maya had proven herself worthy of their trust. The journey to Earth took place in a smaller shuttlecraft. Maya sat beside Lyria in the command center as the pilot navigated them down through the atmosphere. The princess pressed her face against the viewing portal, her eyes wide with wonder as they descended through clouds. "Your world has such variety of colors. Maya, Zolar has been industrialized for so long. We have lost much of our natural landscape." The princess sighed, her expression wistful. "We have our own environmental problems." Princess Maya replied, "Earth is beautiful, but we have damaged much of it too. Perhaps our peoples can learn from each other." The shuttle landed on the designated diplomatic pad near the Metropolitan Museum of Art, where a small delegation awaited them. Maya exited first, scanning for threats before signaling the princess to follow. A human security team stood at attention, but Maya knew she alone held the ultimate responsibility for the royal safety. Lyria emerged from the shuttle, her ceremonial robes catching the sunlight and refracting it in dazzling patterns. The human delegation gasped collectively at the sight. Maya suppressed a small smile, proud of the reaction her charge inspired. Throughout the museum tour, Maya remained vigilant. Her eyes constantly swept the crowds of onlookers while the princess examined ancient artifacts with childlike wonder. Earth media followed at a respectful distance, capturing the historic visit. "What is this?" the princess asked, pausing before a Renaissance painting. "Her Birth of Venus," Maya explained. "A goddess from ancient mythology emerging from the sea." Lyria studied it intently. "How fascinating that your species has always looked to the stars and imagined beings beyond yourselves. We did the same before we took to the stars." The tour continued peacefully until they reached the Egyptian exhibit. Maya noticed a museum attendant who seemed oddly focused on the princess. His hand kept moving toward his jacket pocket. Maya positioned herself closer to Lyria, her instincts flaring. When the man suddenly lunged forward, Maya moved with practiced precision. She placed herself between the threat and the princess, her hand already drawing her weapon. But instead of an attack, the man simply stumbled, dropping what appeared to be a maintenance device. Maya helped him regain his balance while maintaining her protective stance. The man apologized profusely, clearly embarrassed by his clumsiness. Maya nodded but remained alert. Her training had taught her that real Threats often appeared after false alarms when guards lowered their vigilance as they proceeded to the next exhibit. Maya noticed a red dot appearing briefly on the wall near the princess. She reacted, instantly tackling Lyria to the ground as a projectile whistled through the air where the alien had stood seconds before. Security breach, Maya shouted into her communication device, engaging the emergency protocols. The museum erupted into controlled chaos as both human and Zolarian security teams moved to secure the area. Maya kept her body positioned protectively over the princess, using a display case as cover. She could hear the Earth security team engaging with the assailants somewhere in the museum. "Are you injured?" Princess Maya asked, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Lyria shook her head, her silver eyes wide. "I am unharmed thanks to your quick actions, Guardian." They remained in position until the human security chief approached Maya. "I guard Princess. Lyria, identify yourself immediately." Maya demanded, her weapon still drawn. The chief slowly raised his hands. "Situation secure, Agent. The shooter has been apprehended. He was part of the Earth." First movement. Maya nodded but did not relax her stance. "We need immediate extraction," she stated firmly. The royal shuttle was summoned, and within minutes they were escorted back to the landing pad. Once safely aboard the shuttle, Lyria finally spoke. "The attack was because I am different, isn't it?" she asked. Her voice soft. Maya holstered her weapon and sat beside the princess. "Some humans fear what they don't understand, but many more of us welcome the opportunity to learn and grow together. The shooter represents a small minority, Princess, not the majority of humanity." Lyria reached out hesitantly, placing her six-fingered hand on Maya's arm. "In many ways our peoples are similar. We too have those who fear difference, but we have learned over millennia that diversity brings strength. My father chose to reach out to Earth because he saw potential in your kind." The princess paused, looking out at the Earth growing smaller as they ascended. "My father will want to end diplomatic relations after this attack." Maya considered this carefully. "Princess, with respect, I believe that would be a mistake. The actions of one person should not determine the fate of two civilizations." Lyria studied Maya, her silver eyes unreadable. "You would still defend this relationship after members of your own species tried to harm me?" Without hesitation, Maya replied, "Progress has never come without risk, Princess. Zolarians and humans have much to offer each other. If we abandon this opportunity, both our worlds lose." When they returned to the main ship, Maya escorted the princess directly to the royal communication chamber where King Zolan would be waiting to hear of the incident. She prepared to give her report and defend humanity's worth to the powerful alien monarch. Princess Lyria paused before entering. "Your loyalty is to your species, yet you risk yourself to protect me, an alien royal." "Why?" Maya smiled gently. "My loyalty is to peace and to the potential future our worlds can build together. You represent that future, Princess. That makes you worth protecting." The princess nodded thoughtfully. "Perhaps you should join me for this conversation. My father respects warriors, and you have proven yourself one today." The communication chamber glowed as the holographic image of King Zolan materialized. His imposing figure towered over them, his silver eyes identical to his daughter's narrowed as he noticed Maya's presence. Father, Lyria began. "There was an incident." She described the attack while Maya stood at attention. The king listened, his expression growing darker. "Daughter, I believe this experiment has failed. It is time to bring you home and reconsider our relationship with Earth." Maya stepped forward, bowing respectfully. "Your Majesty, if I may speak." The alien king seemed surprised by her boldness, but nodded permission. "The attack today was regrettable, but also an opportunity. It shows that our worlds face similar challenges. Extremism, fear of the unknown, but it also demonstrated how humans and Zolarians can work together for mutual protection." The security teams collaborated flawlessly. Maya stood tall as she spoke. "This alliance is young but already showing promise, worth protecting like your daughter." King Zolan studied Maya with interest. "Guardian, you speak boldly for a junior diplomat. I speak as someone who has come to respect and admire Zolarian culture through my time with Princess Lyria." Maya replied, "And as someone who believes in the future our peoples could create together." The king was silent for a long moment, considering her words. Finally, he addressed his daughter. You chose your guardian well, Lyria. She possesses wisdom beyond her years. We will continue our diplomatic mission, but with enhanced security. After the communication ended, Lyria turned to Maya. Her silver eyes seemed to sparkle. You defended my people to my father just as fiercely as you defended me from danger. Maya smiled. It is the same mission, Princess, building bridges between our worlds as. They walked through the starship corridor. Maya realized how far she had come from her simple life on Earth. Now she stood between worlds, between species, helping forge a path toward a shared future. The weight of her responsibility was enormous, but so was the potential reward, a new era for both civilizations. Princess, Lyria paused at her chamber entrance. Maya, I have decided that when I eventually become queen, I would like you to remain as my advisor and guardian, a permanent bridge between our worlds. Would you consider such a position? Maya bowed deeply. Honored. By the offer, it would be my privilege, Princess. For both our peoples. The next morning, Maya was summoned to a special meeting with the Zolarian intelligence officers. She arrived to find Lyria already there, alongside 5 senior officers. Their expressions were grave. We have received information about a planned attack, Maya. The chief intelligence officer explained. His name was Vex, and his metallic skin had a deeper blue tone than most Zolarians. A group calling themselves Purity of Stars plans to sabotage the upcoming diplomatic summit on your moon base. They believe interspecies cooperation dilutes the purity of all races. Maya frowned. How reliable is this intelligence? Very reliable. Vex replied. We have intercepted communications that confirm the attack will occur during the summit opening ceremony. 6 Earth governments and the Zolarian royal family will be present. Lyria stepped forward. The summit cannot be cancelled. It would set back our relations by years. I agree, Maya said, but we must adapt our security protocols. She turned to Vex. Do we have identities for any of the conspirators? The intelligence officer nodded. We have confirmed 3 Zolarian members, but we believe they have human accomplices as well. Traitors among both. Our peoples, Maya mused. This isn't just an Earth problem or a Zolarian problem, it's our problem together. The princess placed her hand on Maya's shoulder. That is why you must lead the security operation, Maya. You understand both our worlds. You can anticipate threats from either side. Maya was startled by the suggestion. Princess, I am only your personal guardian. I don't have the authority to command a joint security force. King Zolan has already approved it. Vex stated, you will be granted temporary rank of commander in our forces. The Earth governments have been contacted and they too have agreed. Your unique position makes you ideal for this role. Maya felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. She thought of her simple life, before meeting the aliens, of how she had once dreamed of making a difference in the world. Now she stood at the precipice of something much larger than herself. I accept the assignment, she said firmly. Good. Lyria smiled. Now we must prepare. The summit begins in 3 Earth days. The Earth moon base. Tranquility was the largest off-world human settlement. Its vast domes contained living quarters, research facilities, and the grand ceremonial hall where the summit would take place. Maya had spent the last 2 days inspecting every centimeter of the facility and drilling the combined human-Zolarian security teams. She stood now in the control center, looking at surveillance feeds from across the base. Her new uniform combined elements from both species, a practical Earth, designed with Zolarian insignia and materials. The other guards had similar hybrid uniforms, symbolizing their united purpose. Dawn approached behind her, a trusted Earth officer who had worked with Maya in the past. You really think they might have infiltrated the staff? She asked quietly. Maya nodded, keeping her voice low. I think we have to assume they have people everywhere. The Purity of Stars group has been planning this for months. They had time to place operatives. Do you trust the Zolarian? Intel. Dawn asked carefully. I mean, do they have reason to exaggerate the threat? Maya considered the question. She had wondered the same thing at first, but after reviewing the evidence herself, she was convinced. No, I believe the threat is real. The intercepted communications were verified through multiple channels, and this group has attacked diplomatic functions before, just never something this high profile. The door to the control center slid open, and Princess Lyria entered Maya immediately, straightened, standing at attention. The princess looked tired. Her silver skin had a dull cast to it, suggesting she had not rested properly. "Princess, you should be in your protected quarters," Maya said. "The summit doesn't begin for 12 hours. You need rest." Lyria waved away the concern. "I cannot sleep while others work to ensure my safety. Besides, I may have information that could help." She gestured for Maya and Dawn to follow her to a private alcove in the control room. "I have been studying the purity of stars, manifestos." Maya. The princess spoke quietly. Maya was surprised Lyria had not mentioned this research before. They believe that species purity is sacred. Any mixing of cultures, species, or even ideas is considered a form of pollution. In their view, both our peoples are being corrupted by this alliance. "How does that help us?" Maya asked gently. The princess continued. "They follow specific patterns, symbolic actions. They don't just want to disrupt the summit, they want to make a statement. They will target what they see as symbols of cooperation. Likely the ceremonial gift exchange or the signing of the trade agreement." Dawn looked thoughtful. "They want maximum symbolic impact, not just casualties." "Exactly." Lyria nodded. Maya felt a chill run through her. The gift exchange, where representatives from both species would present tokens of goodwill, was scheduled as the first official act of the summit. It made perfect sense as a target. "We need to adjust the security protocols," Maya decided. She turned to Dawn. "Double the guards for the gift exchange and run additional scans on the ceremonial items themselves." Dawn nodded and left to implement the changes. Maya turned back to the princess. "Thank you for this insight. But now please return to your quarters and rest. You have a crucial role tomorrow." Lyria agreed reluctantly. Maya escorted her back to the royal suite where Zolarian guards stood watch. After ensuring the princess was safely inside, Maya continued her rounds, checking each security post and reviewing contingency plans. She had been awake for nearly 30 hours, but adrenaline kept her alert. The security center buzzed with activity as the summit hour approached. Maya received updates from team leaders and made final adjustments to the guard rotations. A quiet sense of tension permeated the base as diplomats and officials began to arrive. Maya watched the monitors as King Zolan and his entourage docked at the lunar port. The Zolarian monarch looked regal in ceremonial armor that caught the harsh lunar light and transformed it into cascading rainbows. Earth officials greeted him with formal bows, which he returned with equal respect. Princess Lyria emerged from her quarters, resplendent in royal attire. Her silver hair was arranged in an intricate crown of braids, and her robe shimmered with embedded crystals that pulsed with soft light. She looked every bit the alien royalty she was. Maya approached and bowed. "My team is ready, Princess." "The route to the ceremonial hall has been secured." The princess nodded, her silver eyes studying Maya. "Do you ever fear for your life in this role?" Maya considered the question. "I respect the danger, Princess, but fear isn't useful in my position. I focus on what I can control." Lyria smiled faintly, very Zolarian thinking. "We have a saying, among the stars, fear is but another light to navigate by." "I like that," Maya replied. The time came for the procession to begin. Maya took her position beside the princess. As they made their way toward the grand hall, King Zolan walked ahead with the Earth President beside him. The corridor was lined with alternating human and Zolarian guards. The grand hall itself was a marvel of architecture. Its transparent dome revealed the stark beauty of the lunar landscape and the distant blue Earth. The hall was filled with dignitaries from 6 Earth nations and various Zolarian provinces. Maya scanned the crowd continuously, looking for any sign of threat. The ceremony began with formal introductions. The Earth President spoke of new beginnings and shared futures. King Zolan responded with equal optimism, describing the potential of their alliance. Throughout the speeches, Maya maintained her vigilance, noticing how Dawn and her team were doing the same from their positions. And now the president announced, "We come to the symbolic exchange of gifts." representing the ongoing friendship between our worlds. This was the moment Lyria had identified as most vulnerable. Maya tensed slightly as an Earth representative stepped forward carrying an ornate box. The Zolarian gift-bearer also approached the center of the hall. Maya noticed something odd about the Zolarian delegate. His movement seemed stiff, unnatural. Maya began moving closer to the exchange, her hand sliding toward her weapon. The Zolarian delegate reached for the gift box, his hands trembling slightly. Maya caught a glimpse of something metallic inside. Not the ceremonial crystal that had been prepared. Reacted instantly, Maya, she shouted, drawing her weapon, dropped the box. Chaos erupted in the grand hall. The Zolarian delegate froze, his expression contorting with anger. The box in his hands began to emit a high-pitched whine. Maya lunged forward as Dawn and her team moved to evacuate the dignitaries. The false delegate turned toward King Zolan, his intentions clear. Maya fired her weapon, striking him in the shoulder. The impact caused him to drop the box, which clattered to the floor, still emitting its ominous tone. "Everyone down," Maya shouted. She dove toward the box sliding across the polished floor. She grabbed it and in one fluid motion hurled it toward the airlock at the side of the hall. Another security officer understood immediately, hitting the emergency cycle button. The outer door opened, pulling the box into the vacuum of space. Seconds later, a flash of light illuminated the lunar surface as the device detonated safely away from the base. The assassin was quickly subdued by Zolarian guards. Maya turned her attention to Princess Lyria, who was being shielded by her royal guards. The princess appeared shaken but unhurt. "Maya, we have a problem," Dawn called through the communication system. Her voice was tense. "Sensors are detecting multiple unauthorized access attempts throughout the base. This was just a diversion." Maya understood immediately. The purity of stars was making their real move while everyone was focused on the ceremony. She turned to the Zolarian security chief. "Secure the royal family. I need to coordinate our response to the broader threat." The chief nodded. "Take Vex with you. He has access to all our security protocols." Maya and Vex raced to the security center where operators were frantically monitoring the situation. Multiple intruder alerts flashed across the screen. "Status report," Maya demanded. "We have 3 confirmed breaches," a technician reported. "Life support control, environmental systems, and the main power core." Maya studied the station schematic. They aren't trying to assassinate anyone, she realized. They want to destroy the entire base. Vex, what would happen if they disabled life support and power simultaneously? The Zolarian officer looked grim. The emergency systems would activate, but if they were compromised too, the base would lose atmosphere. Within 20 minutes, everyone would die. Maya made her decision quickly. Split the response teams. 3 strike units to each breach point. Dawn, you take life support. Vex, power core. I will handle environmental systems. They moved with practiced efficiency. Maya led her team through the service corridors of the lunar base, their weapons ready. Her mind raced, analyzing the situation. The attack was sophisticated, suggesting both human and Zolarian collaboration, just as they had feared as they approached the environmental control center. Maya heard the sound of conflict within. She signaled her team to take positions on either side of the door. 3, 2, 1. She whispered, then kicked the door open. Her team flooded into the room, weapons raised. 2 humans and a Zolarian were at the main control panel. The humans immediately raised their hands in surrender, but the Zolarian turned with unexpected speed, wielding a strange device. Maya fired first, striking the alien in the chest. He fell backward, the device skittering across the floor. One of Maya's team secured it while others restrained the human collaborators. "What were you trying to do here?" Maya demanded, standing over the wounded Zolarian. He laughed, a hollow sound. "You cannot stop what we have begun. The time for species purity has come." Maya checked the environmental controls. The infiltrators had been programming a slow release of toxins into the air supply throughout the base. She quickly reversed their commands and secured the system. "Maya, to all teams," she called into her communicator. "Environmental systems secure." "What is your status?" Dawn responded first. "Life support secure. 2 hostiles." Neutralized Vex took longer to respond. Power core secure, he finally said. But they managed to initiate a partial overload protocol. We are working to stabilize it. Maya turned to one of the human prisoners. What was your plan here? The woman glared defiantly. It's too late. Our cells are active throughout Earth and Zolar. The Alliance will crumble, Maya. Left the prisoners with guards and rushed back toward the ceremonial hall. She needed to ensure the royal family remained safe. The halls were filled with confused diplomats and officials being directed to secure areas by the security teams when she reached the royal security detail. She found Princess Lyria arguing with her guards. I will not hide while others risk their lives. The princess was saying, I can help coordinate. Maya approached Princess. The situation is still unstable. You should remain in a secure location. Lyria turned, fixing Maya with her silver gaze. Have all the threats been contained? We have secured the critical systems. But Maya began. Then I will address the summit. Lyria stated firmly. This attack cannot be allowed to derail our purpose. Particularly now, Maya recognized the determination in the princess' voice. She nodded reluctantly and joined the princess security detail as they made their way back to the Grand Hall, which was now being used as a command center. Earth and Zolarian officials huddled in groups speaking in urgent tones. King Zolan stood in conversation with the Earth president, both looking grave. They turned as Lyria approached. Daughter. The king said, You should be in protective custody. Father, Lyria responded. I believe this is the moment where we must demonstrate our commitment to unity, not retreat into separate corners. The Earth president nodded thoughtfully. The princess is right. If we show fear now, we give the terrorists exactly what they want. King Zolan considered this, then gestured to the communication system. Very well, daughter. Address. Both our worlds. Lyria stepped to the central platform. Maya remained close, watching for any additional threats. The princess activated the broadcast system, which would transmit her words to both Earth and Zolar today. Maya watched with pride as the princess began, her voice steady and clear. Enemies of peace tried to drive our worlds apart. They believe that our differences make us incompatible, that our species should remain isolated, pure. They fear what we might become together. But look around you. Earth and Zolar stand united even in crisis. Our security forces, human and Zolarian, worked as one to protect us all. The princess paused, her eyes finding Maya in the crowd. Today I saw the best of both our worlds. I saw courage and cooperation. I saw the future we can build, a future worth protecting. As Lyria continued her address, Maya received updates from the security teams. The base was secure. All infiltrators had been captured or neutralized. The immediate danger had passed, but Maya knew the broader threat remained. The purity of stars had cells on both worlds. This was just the beginning of a longer struggle. 3 days after the attack, the summit reconvened. Defiantly, the Earth and Zolarian leaders chose to continue their meeting on the same lunar base. The message was clear. Terrorists would not dictate their actions. Maya had slept little during those 3 days. She had overseen enhanced security measures, interrogated prisoners, and coordinated with intelligence agencies from both worlds. The picture that emerged was troubling. The purity of stars had deeper roots and more resources than anyone had suspected. She stood now in a small conference room with Princess Lyria, King Zolan, the Earth President, and a select group of advisors. The mood was somber as they reviewed the intelligence reports. These attacks were coordinated across worlds, the Earth Security Chief explained. They had operatives in place for months. They have access to advanced technology funding and trained personnel. King Zolan frowned. This movement threatens everything we have worked toward. The Earth President nodded, grimly. But it also presents an opportunity. She looked around the table. The purity of stars has inadvertently created the very thing they fear most. A reason for our species to work together more closely. Maya spoke up carefully. We need a joint task. Force, Your Majesty, Madam President. A team with authority to operate on both worlds, tracking these cells and dismantling their network. Princess Lyria leaned forward, I agree, and I believe Maya should lead this effort. She has proven herself capable of understanding both our cultures of building trust between our peoples. Maya was startled by the suggestion. I am honored, Princess, but surely there are more qualified. King Zolan raised his hand, silencing her. My daughter speaks wisely. You have shown remarkable ability, Commander Maya. Your actions saved many lives, including my own. The Earth President nodded in agreement. We need someone who can move between our worlds. Someone both sides will trust. You have earned that trust. Maya looked around, the table seeing determination in their faces. She thought of the future they were trying to build, the obstacles they faced. She thought of her simple life before meeting the Zolarians, and how far beyond that life she had come. I accept, she said. Finally, on one condition. The others looked at her with surprise. A human placing conditions on royal assignments was unusual. Princess Lyria serves as my co-diplomat. Maya continued. If we are truly to demonstrate unity, we should lead together. The princess understands her people and has shown wisdom beyond her years. King Zolan looked at his daughter with new respect. Do you accept this role? Lyria. The princess met Maya's gaze, her silver eyes shining with determination. I do, father. Thus the Joint Security Council was formed with Maya and Princess Lyria at its head. Their first headquarters was established on the lunar base, neutral ground between the two worlds. Teams of specialists from both species were assembled. Intelligence analysts, security experts, cultural liaisons for Maya. The following weeks were a blur of activity. She divided her time between Earth and Zolar, traveling back and forth as leads developed. The princess proved to be an invaluable partner. Her insight into Zolarian culture helped Maya navigate complex situations, while Maya did the same for Lyria. Regarding human customs, they made progress slowly but steadily. Cells of the purity of stars were identified and neutralized, their funding sources traced and frozen. But for every victory, it seemed a new challenge emerged. On a rare, quiet evening, Maya sat with Lyria in the princess quarters aboard the royal starship. They had just returned from a successful operation on Earth, disrupting a planned attack against a Zolarian research facility. Maya sipped a strange Zolarian tea that tasted of cinnamon and something unidentifiable. The princess sat across from her studying a datapad. Do you ever wonder, Maya began, if what we are doing makes a difference there? Seem to be so many who fear our cooperation. Lyria set down the datapad, fixing Maya with her silver gaze. When my ancestors first ventured beyond our home world, they encountered the same fears. The unknown terrifies some, but look at what we've accomplished. In just these few months, the trade agreements, the scientific exchange programs, the cultural initiatives, none of that would exist without our alliance. Maya nodded. The purity of stars may have cells on both our worlds, but they are the minority. Most humans and Zolarians have embraced this new relationship. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment. Then Lyria spoke again. Maya, when this conflict is over, what will you do? Will you return to your former life? The question caught Maya by surprise. She had not thought beyond their current mission, had not allowed herself to consider a future beyond the constant vigilance and responsibility. I don't know, she admitted honestly. I can't imagine returning to simple security work after everything I've seen and done. Lyria hesitated, then spoke carefully. I have been authorized by my father to offer you permanent citizenship on Zolar. You would be the first human to receive such an honor. You could continue your work as a bridge between our worlds. Maya was deeply moved by the offer. But before she could respond, an alert chimed on her communication device. She checked it quickly, and her expression grew serious. What is it? Lyria asked. Our intelligence team has identified the purity of stars central leadership, Maya explained. They are operating from a hidden base in the asteroid belt, a mixed group of humans and Zolarians. The princess stood immediately. We must organize an operation. Maya nodded, already thinking through the logistics. They had been working toward this moment for months. If they could capture the leadership, it might be possible to end the threat once and for all. Within hours, they had assembled a strike team aboard a stealth vessel. The intelligence was solid. The hidden base had been confirmed through multiple sources. King Zolan and the Earth President had authorized the mission personally. As they prepared to depart, Maya found herself standing with Princess Lyria in the ship's observation deck. Earth hung like a blue jewel against the blackness of space. Zolar was not visible from this angle, but Maya knew it was there. Orbiting a distant star. "We have come far together," Maya said quietly. "From that first diplomatic incident when you chose me as your guardian, to this moment it has been an honor." "Princess," Lyria turned to her, "do you remember what you said when my father wanted to end relations with Earth after the museum attack?" Maya smiled. "Progress has never come without risk." The princess nodded. "And now, we risk together for a shared future." Their ship departed the lunar base, accelerating toward the asteroid belt. Maya stood on the bridge, issuing final instructions to the strike team. She felt the familiar tension before an operation, but also something else, a sense of purpose that transcended her individual life. Whatever happened in the coming battle, Maya knew that the relationship between humans and Zolarians had been forever changed, and she had played a part in that transformation. A simple, human guard and an alien princess working together had helped forge a bond between worlds. As the ship approached its destination, Maya caught Lyria's eye across the bridge. They shared a look of understanding. They were no longer just representatives of their separate species. They were pioneers of a new way forward, guardians not just of each other but of the future they hoped to build. Maya checked her weapon one final time as the ship slowed its approach. "Ready, Princess?" she asked. Lyria nodded. "Always, Guardian."